So the Disney Proxy War. There's another update. I love it. This is fascinating stuff because, of course, what we're seeing, if you don't know, let me just bring you up to speed. Disney, the stocks have degraded quite a lot. That's fact. It's not bias. The stocks, the value have gone down and down and down and down. Yeah, there's been little peaks, but they're nowhere near where they were at their strongest, right? That's a sign of market volatility directed for Disney. It shows that the market isn't confident in Disney as a company. Now, what's happened is an activist investor, an investor that is seeking to turn around the company, push it to profitability, has taken it upon himself and his company, Triumph Fund Management, Nelson Peltz, to invest large sums of money, about $3 billion worth, into Disney to try to get them to do what he wants. This is what he actually does as a business. He turns companies around. That's basically what he does, and then he sells the stocks or he stays on board and, gets great dividends, whatever it is. There was part of this happened a little while ago. Bob Iger agreed to do basically what Nelson Peltz wanted. They submitted a white paper. Bob Iger was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Nelson Peltz staved off his proxy war. He was like, no, okay, fine, we'll see. Subsequently, they've done nothing. They've achieved nothing. The dividend is still not there. And the stocks are down. And Nelson Peltz has since bought up more stock, basically. And he's waging a proxy war. Now he's trying to get board seats because the board was nominated predominantly all by Bob Iger. Bob Iger was like, yeah, just the board of Disney are just puppets to Bob Iger, which creates a cyclical cycle, kind of the same word really, isn't it? Cyclical cycle of despair and destruction within Disney, because Bob Iger will go, I've got this great idea, board, you need to agree with me. The board agrees with him, and then he goes off and does it. No one is accountable. The CEO needs to be accountable to the board, but if the CEO nominates puppets, then he's accountable to no one. He's a king of his own kingdom, right? He's the master of this domain. And that's not how it's done. So Nelson Peltz now wants board seats, and now there's an update. And he's taking all of this, he's going to be taking this direct to shareholders, which will be fascinating stuff to see. But we've got an update. Hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Turn the bell notifications on. Give the video a like and a share. Anyway, so Nelson Peltz blasts Bob Iger and the Walt Disney Company a new proxy statement ahead of the 2024 annual meeting. And at this meeting, he is said to, or rumoured to be, as per his own statements, going direct to the investors and asking them to vote him board seats so he can turn the company around. So Nelson Peltz, the head of Triumph Fund Management, is attempting to get several seats on the Walt Disney Company's board alongside former Disney CFO Jay Rasulo, blasted Bob Iger and the current board for mismanagement. And it's hard to disagree with anything he says. So in a press release, Peltz said, "It is unfortunate that a company as iconic as Disney and with so many challenges and opportunities has refused to seriously engage with us. Its largest active share owner about board representation. Instead of having a boardroom that would include directors with an ownership mentality that can bring fresh perspectives to the company's challenges, Disney is resisting change and asking shareholders to endorse a board comprised mainly of legacy directors and their hand-picked successors, who have repeatedly failed to properly plan for CEO succession, misaligned the incentives of management, and failed to oversee or drive a strategy to get the streaming business to profitability or the studio to produce good content." Amazing. Can't disagree with any of it. It's that meme, isn't it? Like, where's the lie? Where is the lie? So Peltz then said, "Are Disney shareholders really to believe that the current board is able to heal these self-inflicted wounds? We respectfully believe the answer to that question is a no, and we will seek the support of shareholders for meaningful change in the board's composition. It is time to restore the magic at Disney." I mean, this is someone that the issue that you need to bear in mind here when sort of thinking about Nelson Peltz. This is someone that actually does believe they can get back to profitability and create good content, right? Because he wouldn't have invested so much money in it otherwise. He has an active stake in the company to make it be successful and profitable. Whereas the other board members don't. They're not shareholders. So it makes sense that this guy, They are shareholders, but of middling value. So the press release goes on to compare the Walt Disney Company to the S&P 500's performance as well as its peers. So it states, despite Disney's unrivaled scale, unparalleled customer loyalty, irreplaceable intellectual property, and an enviable commercial flywheel, Disney's total shareholder return is significantly lower than its peers and the broader market over every relevant period during the last decade and over the tenure of each non-management director. Trian believes this underperformance is the result of a board that has failed to adequately perform its primary responsibilities as stewards of shareholder capital, fiduciary duty. So first they point to the company's corporate governance and how it's been structured. Preserve as much of the status quo as possible by playing defense, evidenced by limited changes to compensation and succession processes. Adopt best-in-class governance, finally complete a successful CEO succession, and align management pay with performance. So this is what they want to do, and this is why they've got issues. So they haven't managed to preserve, they've just been preserving status quo, blah, 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 but then they haven't been able to, this is their way to resolve it. Actually get a successful CEO succession on board, stop pissing around with it, stop dilly-dallying, and then also get management pay aligned with the performance of the company. Like, you shouldn't get paid money if the company's performing badly and the shareholders are getting no money, right? There's been no dividend to the shareholders. They've got nothing from their shares, and yet Bob Iger got paid $30 million or $31 million. So what the fuck? So the second major problem is the streaming profitability with Disney, and the company has no guidance or tangible targets beyond break-even. To solve this problem, Trian states, target and achieve Netflix-like margins of 15 to 20% by financial year 2027. Trian also points to ESPN and notes that the service lacks a tangible business plan or defined cost to shareholders. So they state that Disney should commit to a reasonable defined payback period and return profile on ESPN flagship DTC, and communicate it in detail prior to launch. They also say that they've identified studio creativity. Trian proposes a board-led review of creative processes and structure to restore leadership accountability and reclaim number one box office position with leading economics, because they're terrible at the box office at the moment. And they also point to Parks and Experiences growth and says that they will execute on a clear vision for parks targeting at least high single-digit operating income growth to ensure adequate return on $60 billion. So there you go. So specifically, Peltz commented on these problems and his proposals to fix them. We will have much more to say about these goals and the initiatives necessary to achieve them when we release our full presentation to shareholders. But to be clear, Disney needs to be again the beacon of strategic clarity and exceptional execution it once was. No Disney shareholder should be content with the current strategic muddle or have to endure failed execution without accountability. Difficult to argue. Rasulo, who's very respected within Disney, says, Nelson and I are not about strategic platitudes or soft goals. As Disney board members, we would expect to help drive Disney's financial performance by working with other board members to set demanding but realistic goals to which executives' compensation will be tied. Amazing. And provide rigorous oversight to help ensure accountability for operational execution and capital allocation. Disney was founded and built by owners. We believe restoring the magic at Disney starts with a focused, aligned, and accountable board, intensely committed to returning an ownership mentality to the boardroom. That and a heavy dose of best-in-class corporate governance is the medicine Disney needs to fix its ailing shareholder returns, i.e. bugger all. This is amazing. So not only did Trian and Peltz put the Walt Disney Company and Bob Iger on blast in their press release, but they also launched their Restore the Magic campaign and a whole website. And the website asks, Trian loves Disney, but does Disney leadership love its shareholders and fans? Over the past decade, Disney's shareholders would have been much richer if they'd invested in the S&P 500 or Disney's self-selected media peers instead. That's fucking insane. Excuse the language, but it really is. It's madness. It also points out Walt Disney Company's current board has not invested in Disney's future by pointing out that they own approximately $35 million in stock, a drop in the hat compared to Trian's ownership of $3 billion. So yes, they have a vested interest in making it successful. The Walt Disney Company recently announced that they do not want Peltz or Rasulo on the board, which is super dumb, and they're making nonsense reasons for it. But there you go. I mean, this is Nelson Peltz putting Disney majorly on blast. It's absolute comedy gold. It's hilarious. Difficult to argue with him. And if I was a shareholder of Disney, of which I am not, I would absolutely 100% vote Nelson Peltz and Jason Rasulo as board members. And thirdly, I'd also get Ike Perlmutter on board as well. I'd get all three of them as board members. They've got personal vested interest and stakes within Disney, especially Ike Perlmutter. He was one of the largest single shareholders, like just an individual, not a company, because he literally sold Marvel to Disney, right? So I'd get him on board as well, because he's not, you know, he's got a vested interest. It's about holding people accountable at the end of the day. So now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn on the tide? Maybe. But either way, it's still funny to watch it play out. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.